Hello, I'm Siavash. In Farsi, Salam, man Siavash Hastam. I work on Persian Sufi literature. Today, however, what I'm going to talk to you about is a grammatical subject about past tense in Farsi or Persian language. Doesn't matter. Farsi, like the other languages, has past tense, present, future, and each of them has many forms: simple, conditional, perfect. The focus of my teaching today is on past simple tense in Farsi. Before I start that, let me talk to you about 2 points. First, to understand this video as much as possible, you better to have some information about Persian language, basic information. But if you don't, no worries, I will let you know what you need to know. Second, in this video, I don't care of Persian alphabet. I will write Persian words with English letters because I want you to get some abilities to speak Farsi, not to write, not to read. I think that's a good way for beginners. When you become good enough in speaking, you can commence writing and reading in Farsi too. Okay, are you ready? We'll go. Let me give you a plan for today's lesson. Today, we'll talk about at first pronouns. We need this information for today's lesson, and you have to memorize some of them if you want. Second, I will teach you infinitives and past roots in Farsi. This is important for past simple tense. The third one, I will teach you conjugating and identifiers. After that, we will talk about short information about objects in Farsi. Not with details, general information about object. And at last, I will give you some more examples. More practice about past tense in Farsi. And the final goal for today's lesson. The final goal is you can say some simple sentences. Okay? This is my ultimate goal for this lesson. So, let's go. The first thing that you have to know is pronouns. Pronouns in Farsi are 6. Man. It means I. Man is not an English word here as a human being. No, man means I, man. To, not to, to. You. Okay? U. U. He or she. We don't care of gender in Farsi, So for both he or she, we use u. Ma, we. شما, you again, but شما is for more than one person. And آنها. آنها, they. Okay, please memorize these words, these pronouns, and please repeat after me. من, I, تو, you, او, he or she. ما, we, شما, you, آنها, they. من، تو، او، ما، شما، آنها. Okay. When you got these pronouns, these very important words in Farsi, you step the first step in Farsi. And then you have to be familiar with infinitives and past roots. Infinitives in Farsi, I will give you an example and I will explain that with an example. I think that's better for you. For example, to say. To say. This is an infinitive in English. To say in Farsi means گفتن. گفتن. Okay. As you see here, A and N, we call it N, گفتن. This is the identifier of an infinitive in Farsi. Like English, that to is an identifier for infinitive. So, گفتن is an infinitive. And گفت, the rest of the word is past roots. And we will use past root today a lot. Okay? گفتن and گفت is the past root. The other example, to see. To see in Farsi is دیدن. دیدن. Maybe I better to write with double E instead of I. دیدن. دیدن, to see. Again, an is identifier for an infinitive, and deed is the past roots. Okay? So, for conjugating and identifiers in Farsi, we will use the past root of these two examples. And after that, we can conjugate the other verbs, the other infinitives in Farsi. Now I'm here conjugating and identifiers. Go ahead. For example, I want to say, I said. I said. In Farsi. Okay, I need a pronoun for that. I man. What is the past root of guftan? Guft. Okay. Man. Guft. And we have an identifier for I, for man. Man guftam. Man guftam. It means I said. Man guftam. I is a pronoun. Man. Guft is the past root. And am is the identifier for I, for man. Man guftam. Okay? For you, you said. Okay? I need the pronoun to. You said. To. The root is guft. And the identifier is e. To gufti. To gufti. You said. To gufti. Pronoun to. Guft. The past root. And e. The identifier for you. To gufti. He or she said. Okay, what's the pronoun for that? U. So, u guft. U guft. It means that he or she said. U guft. For he or she, or u in Farsi, we don't have any identifier. We have just only the past root, u guft. It means he or she said, without any identifier here. Okay? How about we? We said. We said. What is the pronoun for that? Ma. Ma. Guftim. Ma guftim. Im is the identifier, ma is the pronoun, and guft is the past root of the infinitive. Ma guftim, we said. Okay? How about you? For more than one person. You said. Shoma. Shoma is a pronoun. Guftid. Guftid. I don't know, do you see here or not? But I will tell you. Guftid. Shoma guftid. It means that you said. You for more than one person. And they said. Anha. Guft. And anha, guftand. Again, and is the identifier for they, for anha. Anha, guftand. They said. Okay? So, we complete that, very, very easy. Just you have to the word, you have to know the infinitive, you have to know the past truth, pronouns, and identifiers. You can make your conjugating for every infinitive. Okay, let me give you the other example. To see. To see is دیدن. So, what is the past root? دیدن. The past root is did. Did. So, when I want to say I saw, I have to say man did دیدم, like that. من گفتم, من دیدم. am is the identifier and did is the past root. من دیدم. Okay, you saw. Think about that, please. You is to. Yeah, to. The root is did and the identifier is e. To didi. You saw. To didi. To didi. Okay. How about he or she saw? He saw or she. We have to say oo, he or she, oo. Did. No identifiers here. For to, for you, we have the e, but here we don't have any identifier. Who did? We saw. We, ma, did, the roots, and ma, didim. And again, for we, for ma, didim, didim. You saw. For more than one person, I have to say شما. Did. What's the identifier here? Id. شما did. And آنها. They. saw. آنها. آنها what? Did. Didn't. آنها didn't. They saw. Okay? One more time, please. I said. من گفتم. گفت is the root. من گفتم. You said. تو گفتی. He or she said. او گفت. We said. ما گفتیم. You said. شما گفتید. They said. آنها گفتند. And about see, to see, I saw man دیدم. You saw تو دیدی. He saw او دید. We saw ما دیدیم. You saw شما دیدید. And they saw آنها دیدند. Okay? Now, I have to say something about object because I want to say a complete sentence in English with object. Because, for example, when I say من دیدم, I saw, maybe you ask me, okay, what did you say? I need to say something about object, okay, in my sentence. In Farsi, object is, okay, let me clean here. من گفتم. من گفتم. Okay, remember that I said. من گفتم. Okay, object in Farsi is after subject. Its place is after subject here. And the verb in Farsi is always the last thing in our sentences. Always verb is the last thing. So, من گفتم. You ask me, what did you say? I said, من, for example, داستان را گفتم. داستان is story in Farsi. Story. I said the story. من داستان را گفتم. من داستان را گفتم. I said the story. And what is ra here? Ra. Ra is the identifier for objects, and we have to use ra after object always in all sentences that they need object. Sign or identifier, I don't know, sign is better maybe. Sign of, no, identifier is better. Or object. Okay. من داستان را گفتم. It means I said the story. داستان, the story, and the object, and ra is the sign or the identifier of object or for object. Okay. You, to, said the story. To, داستان را what گفتی. گفتی. This is the verb. This is the sign of the object. This is the object, and this is subject. To, you said the story. تو داستان را گفتی. Object, and this is the sign of the object. This is our verb here at the end of the sentence, and to is subject. That is a pronoun here. تو داستان را گفتی. داستان is the object and گفتی is the verb. Okay, how about she or he? او گفت. او گفت means he said or she said. What does it mean? It means that he said or she said something. What did he say? What did she say? We have to say او داستان را گفت. او داستان را گفت. How about we? Think about that, please, for a couple of seconds. او داستان را گفت. About we. We have to say ما داستان را گفتیم. Yeah, you remember that we said ما گفتیم. This is not a complete sentence, it needs an object, so we have to put our object here in this place. ما داستان را گفتیم. شما, you, more than one person. You, شما داستان را گفتید. Look at this. You said. شما گفتید. But when I want to say you said the story, I have to say شما داستان را گفتید. And they said آنها داستان را گفتند. گفتند for they, آنها. آنها داستان را گفتند. You said the story. Okay? Now, we want to practice with the infinitive دیدن, to see, and an object for that. Okay. For example, I want to say I saw you. I saw you. Please think about it for a couple of seconds, and after that we'll talk about it. I saw you. Okay, what's your idea? I have to say man. So, دیدم. دیدم. I saw. دیدم. What did I say? What did I say? I saw you. Okay. You is to. You remember? To. So I have to say man to را دیدم. من تو را دیدم. It means that I saw you. As you see here, I use again را. And here, to is our object. I can say man James را دیدم. I saw James. But here, to is the object as a pronoun. I saw you. من تو را دیدم. The verb is the last thing in our sentences in Farsi. Okay? I will say تو او را دیدی. تو او را دیدی. It means that you saw him or her. You saw it. Again, u is object. Okay. For he or she. And about James, I want to give you an example with James. He or she saw James. He saw James. Okay, think about that, please. He saw James. He is who saw James. Saw did without identifier here. James must be here. Who James ra did. Who James ra did. He saw James. Who James ra did. Okay. We saw James. I have to say, we is ma saw. The deem at the end. And object must be here. Ma James ra didim. Ma James ra didim means that we saw James. In English, we don't have identifier for or sign in a sign for object, but in Farsi we have, and we have to use that. Ra. You saw James. We have to say Shoma did at the end, and object should be here. James ra. We have to say Shoma James ra did it. And about they. They saw James. What's that? آنها James را دیدند. آنها James را دیدند. They saw James. Okay, so far you know pronouns من تو او ما شما آنها. You know about the infinitive and the past root, of course, just for two infinitives. And you know about the identifiers, and you can conjugate verbs if you know the verb, the infinitive, like دیدن and گفتن. And you know about object and its position in the sentence. In Farsi, it should be after subject, and the verb is the last one. Now, I'm going to give you more examples, and I will give you a short time to think about examples, and we'll talk about that after a short time that you've Okay. The next example is a neo infinitive in Farsi. For example, to eat. In Farsi, to eat is khordan. Khordan. Usually, your American can say khordan. You say kordan. Doesn't matter. But in Farsi, the correct pronunciation is khordan. Khordan. Okay, to eat. I want to say I ate the food. And I have to tell you the meaning of food in Farsi. Food in Farsi is ghaza. 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 Food. Okay. And you have a short time to think about that, to conjugate, and after that we'll talk about it. I ate the food in Farsi. I'm sure you did it now. Okay. I, man. What is the object? The food. So I have to say man, ghaza, ra. And what is the verb here? The infinitive is khordan. So the root is khord. The root is khord. Man, gazara, khordam. Identifier for man, for I. Man, gazara, khordam. I ate the food. Okay? Pay attention to the identifiers. They are very important in Farsi. If you want your meaning, your idea in Farsi, you have to use correct identifiers. Okay, you ate the food. Will you think about it? And make a sentence in Farsi, please. You ate the food. Okay, let's go together. You did it or not? Yes, I'm sure. Okay, you. To. What's the object? The food. To. Gaza. Ra. What? Khordan. The root is khord, and the identifier is I. To. Gazara. Khordi. To. Gazara. Khordi. Okay? And don't forget period after the sentence. E is the identifier for you. For you. Okay. I want to say he ate He ate the food. Okay? About 1 minute only. Think about it. Okay, let's go. He ate the food. او he is او غذا را خورد. What's the identifier for he or she? او. What's the identifier? There is no identifier here for he or she. او غذا را خورد. That's it. Okay. We ate the food. Come on. Without any time, you have to say that now. I'm sure you can do it. We ما غذا را خورد. خوردیم. Khord is the root, and im is the identifier for we, for ما. ما غذا را خوردیم. And you ate the food. For more than one person, you have to say شما غذا را خوردید. And the last one, they ate the food. They ate the food. You have to say آنها غذا را خوردند. And is the identifier for آنها, for they. آنها غذا را خوردند. Okay, and let me give you the last example for today about the verb or the infinitive. To read. خواندن. خواندن, to read. Okay? I want to translate. I read the book. I want to translate this sentence to Farsi. I have to say, man read. خواندن is the infinitive, and you have to remove an and the root is khand. Khand. So man khand, and for I, for man, the identifier is am. Man khandam. Okay, what did you read? I read the book. Book in Farsi is kitab. Man kitab. Ra khandam. So kitab, book, is object here. And the ra is a sign of object. Okay, I read the book. Man kitab ra khandam. I want to say you read the book. How can I say this in Farsi? You read the book. To kitab ra khandi. Khandi. To kitab ra khandi. You read the book. U, I want to say he or she read the book. Okay. U kitab ra khand. U kitab ra khand. How about we? Ma kitab ra khandim. Ma kitab ra khandim. That we read the book. And you read the book again. You read the book. For more than one person, we have to say Shoma kitab ra khandid. Shoma kitab ra khandid. You read the book. And last, I want to say they read the book. Tell me please. Anha kitab ra khandand. Okay, and is the identifier for anha, for they. Okay. Now, let me ask you, how do you think about the goal? Can you say some simple sentences in Farsi, in past tense, or no? I think yes. You can say, I read the book. What's that? Man kitab ra khandam. You can say in Farsi, you can say Man غذا را خوردم. I ate the food. Man غذا را خوردم. You can say I said the story. من داستان را گفتم. I said the story. من داستان را گفتم. You can say I saw you. من تو را دیدم. من تو را دیدم. So I think you can say something in Farsi, some sentences in past tense Farsi, and I hope we met in another time, maybe with another examples, another tenses. Thank you very much for watching me, for listening to our Persian language lessons. Goodbye.